Malibu City Council member Bruce Silverstein joins me now from Malibu. Sir, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you recently lost your own home just weeks ago to one of the earlier fires. You told the LA Times, "I think I'm in shock, watching from a distance the fire surround your home." This must hit on such a personal level, especially when you see these images coming from an iconic area like Malibu. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Yeah, well, first of all, just to be clear, I didn't lose my home. My home was partially damaged.
Okay.
It did burn in part, and it's everything inside's destroyed, but the structure's still there, which actually makes me more fortunate than many of the people whose homes are burned to the ground in the last few days. Every time I watch this, it's hard not to get emotional. I drove through much of the wreckage yesterday, at least in Malibu, for the first time. I received an escort from the fire department, and on the one, I try to be optimistic. On the one hand, after seeing all of the footage of all the devastation, I actually expected to see nothing other than wreckage, and to my great surprise, there were homes that were standing. I mean, wreckage, carnage, and then a home standing untouched, maybe two or three. Then more. You're looking at footage right now. I filmed while I was driving. Well, my wife filmed while we were driving. This is Pacific Coast Highway. I mean, you've been showing videos much like these. I was watching. And my heart goes out for that woman that was just speaking in front of her church. Anyway, it's hard. Words are hard to come by to explain what's going on here.
Yeah. It's why I appreciate you coming on and just sharing what's going on in your community. How are the people of Malibu doing? What are they saying to you?
Well, for the most part, I've been in contact with them mostly through social media and texts, emails, phone calls. Many of the people whose homes have burned to the ground are scattered. They're not in the community. They're staying with friends, family, hotels throughout the area. And that's one of the many difficult things that follows a disaster like this, is that the community is just ripped apart and spreads apart. We have a very small town. Less than 10,000 people live in Malibu. I've already forgotten the rest of your question. What do they need? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but the people that are left, the people whose homes have not been burned. And Malibu's a 21-mile long, thin stretch of real estate, so to speak, 1 mile deep. So it runs along the coast. It's pretty much just a coastal town. About a third of the town's been devastated by this event. We had another one 6 years ago that hit the other side of town. But the trouble is equal. It's not equal. The trouble is also for the people who are left, whose homes have not burned. One, they're on constant standby for the fire turning around and continuing. Second, they have no power, or at least most of them almost everyone had no power till yesterday. Some of the power has returned. The gas has been shut off. There's no gas. In some areas, the water is not drinkable. The air, as you can imagine, is you need to wear a mask. So this disaster doesn't just impact those whose homes burned, although it clearly impacts them in an amazing way.
You mentioned the water is not drinkable. What's being done to fix that? Make sure people have drinking water.
The water districts are doing their best to provide drinkable water, but in areas closest to where the devastation occurred, I think they're just not able. There are notices to boil your water, although you can't boil water if you don't have power. So that's what you do. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah, you mentioned the ash as well. LA County Department of Public Health is telling people to stay indoors because of the quality of the air. These fires are different than the wildfires we normally hear about, Bruce.
Yeah.
It is thousands of homes. They're building and they're burning. Do you have any concerns about the chemicals that are in the air? Should officials be doing more to maybe get masks to residents?
Very, very serious concerns. It's called an urban wildfire.
Yeah.
It's like nothing we know historically, and this one probably has affected the largest urban area that we've ever seen. I mean, last year, Lanai, just what was it? Last year, 2 years ago. I'm sorry, in Maui. Wow, the air is dangerous. It is the other thing that people need to understand is there are many homes that are in the fire areas that have not burned. Those homes are seriously smoke damaged. And when I say smoke, smoke is nothing but the result of burning material, much of which is toxic when it's burned, some of which is toxic before it's burned.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.